So you're buying a house. It's exciting, right? But today, we're going to talk about a hidden danger that could turn that dream home into a total nightmare. We're talking about mold. And yeah, it's often invisible, but what you can't see can seriously hurt you.
Okay, let's just start with this bombshell from the EPA. Almost half of all homes have mold. Let that sink in. Yet, only about 17% of people buying a home actually get a proper mold inspection. That massive gap between the risk and what people actually do, well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today.
Imagine it. You found the one, the perfect house. It checks every single box. But lurking behind those nice new walls, there could be a secret waiting to ruin everything. Because mold, it's not just some ugly spot you can wipe away. Nope. It's a triple threat to your money, your home structure, and your family's health.
First things first, and this is the most important one, your health. Mold can set off allergies and cause some really serious respiratory problems. This is a huge deal, especially if you have kids, elderly family members, or anyone with a weaker immune system living with you.
Second, mold is a direct threat to the house itself. I mean, it literally eats organic stuff like the wood in your framing and your drywall. It is quietly, silently chewing away at the structural integrity of your home from the inside out.
And finally, we've got to talk about your wallet. This is probably the biggest investment you'll ever make. And a documented mold problem, it can absolutely crush your home's value, making it incredibly hard to sell later on without taking a major financial hit.
And how big of a hit are we talking about? Well, get this. Homes with known mold issues can lose up to 10% of their value. So on a $400,000 home, that's a $40,000 loss, all from something that a simple inspection could have caught early on.
So, the big question is, how do you spot this hidden enemy before you sign on the dotted line? Well, there are 5 major red flags that should be setting off alarm bells when you're touring a home. Let's walk through them. First up, any visible water damage. I'm talking stains on the ceiling, warped floors, anything that looks like it's been wet. Water is mold's best friend. Second, trust your nose. Seriously, if you smell that funky, musty, earthy odor, that is a classic sign of hidden mold. Third, read that seller's disclosure very carefully. If they're being cagey or vague about water issues, that's a huge red flag. Fourth, if your general home inspector's report comes back and mentions high moisture readings anywhere, that's your cue to call on a mold specialist, period. And fifth, be extra careful with houses that have been sitting vacant. When the air isn't circulating, humidity builds up, and that creates a perfect breeding ground for mold.
Okay, so let's say you spot one of those red flags. It is absolutely time to call in a specialist. You should think of them like a detective for your potential new house, because what they do goes way, way deeper than a standard inspection.
Now, here's the key difference you need to understand. A general home inspector, they'll point out the obvious stuff, a visible stain or some surface mold. But a certified mold specialist, they're like a forensic investigator. They're using specialized gear to find what's hidden, and they're taking actual air and surface samples to send to a lab.
And their toolkit is pretty high-tech. They've got things like infrared cameras that can literally see temperature differences behind a wall, pointing out hidden moisture. They use moisture meters to get hard data, not just a guess. And the big one, air sampling equipment. This tells them if you're breathing in a high concentration of mold spores, even if you can't see a single speck of mold anywhere.
Those lab results are really where the rubber meets the road. The analysis tells you the exact type of mold you're dealing with. And trust me, this is critical information. Why? Because not all molds are the same. Finding out you have something like Stachybotrys, that's the infamous black mold, well, that comes with much more serious health warnings than other types. This helps you understand the real risk.
And that brings us to the all-important question of money. Look, it's easy to see an inspection as just another fee in an already expensive home buying process, but that is the wrong way to think about it. It's not an expense. It's insurance against a potential financial disaster.
Just look at the numbers here. A professional mold inspection is going to run you a few $100, but the cost to get rid of a serious mold problem, what they call remediation, that can easily skyrocket into the tens of thousands of dollars. It's a tiny investment up front to avoid a truly devastating financial blow later.
And it's not just about dodging a disaster. A professional inspection report gives you power. It's a fantastic negotiation tool. You can use it to get the seller to pay for the cleanup, to negotiate a lower price for the house, or if the problem is bad enough, it gives you the evidence you need to just walk away and know you dodged a massive bullet. All right, so you're convinced you're going to get an inspection. But how do you make sure you hire the right person for the job? Here's your playbook for being a smart buyer.
First up, and this is non-negotiable, you have to watch out for a conflict of interest. You want an inspector who only does inspections, not remediation. Think about it. If they also sell the cleanup service, they have a financial reason to find a problem, right? You need someone who is completely unbiased.
So when you're calling around, have these questions ready. Ask about their certifications. You're looking for names like Normie or IICRC. These are the gold standards. Ask them straight up if they also do remediation. Ask them what testing methods and equipment they use. And finally, always ask to see a sample report. That'll tell you just how thorough they really are.
So let's wrap this all up with this single most important takeaway. A mold inspection is not an optional add-on. It's not a luxury. It is an absolutely essential piece of protection for your biggest investment and, way more importantly, for the health of your family.
So as you're out there looking for that perfect house, I'm just going to leave you with this one question to think about. Your dream home is waiting for you, but are you absolutely sure it's safe?